Hey, yo, Frank Martin says, I ain't duck-ish. The Shakur Stevenson, he said he ain't ducking. It didn't happen. That's what I want to talk about in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy, Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. If you love the sport of boxing, the best thing you could do is throw a like on the video. Takes a few seconds. It's free to subscribe. Now, I made a previous video, and I want to expand upon it. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Frank Martin took to his social media. He said, I ain't duck-ish. Now, there's a notion that Frank Martin potentially ducked Shakur Stevenson. But for me, I told you in my previous video, it seemed a bit iffy. Reason being, we never heard Frank Martin suggest that the fight was done. We never heard anyone from Frank Martin's side or his team suggest that the fight was done. We never heard Derek James, the trainer of Errol Spence, Jermell Charlo, who has a big fight with Canelo. Payday, you want payday? I know that. We never heard any of these characters come out and suggest that the fight was actually done. Now, who did leak this news? It was all ESPN from the beginning. ESPN, they're the ones that put out the report that the fight was agreed. Never heard a confirmation from Frank Martin's side. ESPN and their reporters, they were the ones that said the fight was a wrap, a rizzy. So to me, that was highly questionable from the beginning. And they say there's three sides to every story. I'm curious to see what Frank Martin has in store for next. Some people suggest maybe he's fighting against the likes of a Gervonta Davis, but I think people are so quick to throw out the ducking. Oh, he ducked. Oh, it's a duck. Oh, I'm sick of the ducking. Because at the end of the day, we have not even really heard from both sides. We've only heard the ESPN side. We've only heard Shakur Stevenson and his platform side. We haven't really heard anything from Frank Martin. So I think people are so quick to get the Tom Brady and throw that out there. And I just find that a bit weird. The other thing is, if you look at Frank Martin, what in his character has ever made you believe that he's not who he says he is? What has he done that makes you believe that Frank Martin is not about that life? And this is no disrespect, because I think Shakur Stevenson is a talented young southpaw fighter. But if you look at it in the grand scheme of things, what makes you believe that Shakur Stevenson, out of all people in boxing, Shakur Stevenson is the style that everybody would avoid? You got a guy like, let's say, Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, oh my God, to this day. You got a guy like Wilder. This man is one of the most threatening punchers that boxing has ever seen. He's able to get fights and to get people to sign on the dotted line. Shakur Stevenson, if you look at his last fight with Yoshino or whoever that guy was, right? You look at that last fight, it was a mercy stoppage. He was clearly beating the dude. He was outclassing the dude. Yes, but it was a mercy stoppage. It wasn't like this brutal stoppage where he's flying through the ropes or anything crazy and bludgeoned and bloody, right? It was a clinical boxing affair. So my thing is this, a guy like Frank Martin, he just fought a guy that was an Olympian just like Shakur Stevenson, medal just like Shakur Stevenson, and that was the Artem Harutyunyan guy. Super tricky, super crafty. To be honest, that was good preparation for a tricky and crafty guy like Shakur Stevenson. And if I had to be educated, make an educated guess, I would say Harutyunyan, just being in the fact that he's a difficult, crafty guy, that's better prep work. So I find it funny that all the information that we're getting regarding this ducking is really coming from Shakur Stevenson's platform, which is ESPN. Furthermore, and I made a different video about it. You guys got to check that for an in-depth breakdown. But Shakur Stevenson openly turned down a Devin Haney offer to fight for a 75-25 split because he felt the money wasn't what he was worth. So Devin Haney's undisputed. Devin Haney's the champion. He's also undefeated. Shakur Stevenson had one fight against a foreign fighter, the Yoshino guy, Yoshi, in the new lightweight class. And he said that the split wasn't to his liking. So what makes the situation for Shakur where he can turn down a title opportunity for all 4 belts in the 4-belt era because he didn't like the deal. But then when it comes to Frank Martin, people are saying it's an open duck and it's an automatic duck because he turned down the fight. And we don't really have any details as to why he did it. Maybe he has a bigger fight. Maybe the money was low. Maybe his trainers booked training Jermell Charlo and wouldn't have time to train him. But who knows? You know what I'm saying? There's millions of different things, but leave it to boxing fans for them to speculate and just guess and say, oh, it's a duck, it's a duck. And I don't really see it like that. And again, I still need clarification. Y'all want to duck and dodge, but explain how Shakur Stevenson can not fight for the titles with Devin Haney for a deal that he's not okay with, but Frank Martin's supposed to take anything. Shakur took to his social media and said, oh, but this deal is quadruple what you've ever made. How does Shakur Stevenson know the purses that Frank Martin has got for each of his fights? And furthermore, Devin Haney says the 25% would still be more than Shakur's ever made, and an opportunity to blemish Devin's record and an opportunity at 4 belts. So a lot of things at play. Shakur then, when the fans started to chastise him, Shakur took to his social media and he deleted that particular tweet where people were suggesting, hey, you're a hypocrite. Why aren't you willing to take the deal? But then you want Frank Martin to take the deal because you say it's worth more money. So there's a lot of questions here. And I see a lot of people speculating and trying to pick sides and things like that. But at the end of the day, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You can't have one person do something and it's a-okay, but then another person does it and then you have a problem with it. That's not really equal. It's not really fair. And on my channel, that's not what I give you. So I want to hear from Frank Martin's side or see what his next fight is and then take it from there. But I said this before, it doesn't help Shakur's case, talented fighter. It doesn't help his case that you just keep saying all these fights don't happen. You got to get with your team and have a heart to heart like, yo, I need some of these fights, because at the end of the day, people aren't trying to hear that. They just want to see great fights. And Ryan Garcia was able to get Gervonta Davis. Gervonta was able to get Ryan Garcia. Devin Haney's fighting Regis Prograis. And everyone else is in or around the division is getting bigger names. Teofimo got a Josh Taylor opportunity, which was great for his career. The only person, the odd man out, is Shakur Stevenson. So you can't just tell me that no one wants to fight him and that's it. At the end of the day, there's a lot of guys with difficult, tricky styles, and you still got to build them. So it's really on your team to put forth an effort and present an offer that makes sense. To be honest, that's why I didn't really get overly excited about the Shakur Stevenson Frank Martin. Yes, it's a great fight, but they were talking about the fight before Grand Prix on a Thursday. Is that really prime time for 2 Black American fighters to fight on a Thursday? And then some people don't want to address these concerns, but this all plays into it. Why would Frank Martin fight on a Thursday, go to enemy territory, potentially get an offer that he can make the same type of money for Artem Harutunian type of fights and stay on his network and things like that, instead of going to enemy territory, going to an enemy network, like things that have nothing to do with you just because it's a vacant title? And the other thing is, it's a vacant title. That means neither guy is the champion. Neither guy is a champion in the division. So at the end of the day, neither one of them enter the fight as a champion. So they're just fighting for a free belt. And I've always said this on my channel, that to fight a champion and dethrone them for the belt is always going to be much more significant than to take a vacant belt and you just 2 people who were highly ranked and they fought for the open vacant belt. It's a different thing. And I do respect the fact that Shakur has been a 2-division champ. He's been a champion in other divisions, but he's not a champion here. So I think there's more than meets the eye. We're getting one side, and it happens to be Shakur Stevenson's side, which is ESPN. And that's not good enough for me to just condemn Frank Martin. Frank Martin's telling you he didn't duck. People are going to try to pick sides or whatever, but how are you so sure? How are you so certain? and we don't even know what his next move is or the full reason, and yet people are completely sold that it's one side. And it seems like the Al Heyman PBC side always gets blamed. And I said this before, Lomachenko is a top ranked guy, and they're talking about him fighting in 2024 against Kambosos. Meanwhile, Kambosos or Lomachenko, they're not fighting Devin Haney, and they're all with top rank along with Shakur Stevenson. So until people can answer those questions, then I don't really want to hear it, because Lomachenko was the highest rated person next to Shakur Stevenson within the WBC. Devin just fought him, but then they won't give him to Shakur Stevenson. So I think Shakur got to look inward, look at his team, look at his promotion. It's Terrence Crawford 2.0. Terrence Crawford, dope fighter, and when he was with Top Rank, couldn't get Pacquiao. Shakur Stevenson, there's dope fighters that he could fight like Lomachenko that are all in-house, and then they're going to feed Lomachenko or feed Kambosos to Lomachenko instead of giving Shakur Stevenson the opportunity. So I think that needs to be deciphered and analyzed a lot more. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel. YouTube will now show you some videos that I've done that you may be interested in watching. Subscribe and I'm out. Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxingego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new interactive and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation.